Alrighty, good afternoon. Good afternoon. Good afternoon. Happy Monday. All right, we're coming down to the home stretch. All right, I was just checking. There's some of you who have done your progress learning. We still have a lot of folks who need to do organelles and homeostasis. And then your taxonomy study guide. So I'm not going to add a new assignment because that in itself is enough. Oh, wonderful. All right, Andrea, I got your message. Gotcha. All right, Jacob. You're kind of in and kind of out. Okay. All righty, there you go. All right. So again, good afternoon, good afternoon, good afternoon. Happy Monday. Okay, that was kind of early. All right. What I'm looking at is all of you need to do your taxonomy study guide. Some of you need to do organelles and homeostasis in progress learning. So that's it. So I'm not going to add a new assignment because the taxonomy study guide is quite a bit. So please focus on that. Again, with the taxonomy study guide, the question number 9, let me pull that up. Actually, okay. Again, first, if you haven't finished your organelles and homeostasis, please make sure you do that in progress learning. That's a must. You must do that. Also, again, like we said, we're trying to get everything out of the way because next week for milestones, you probably will not be in class. You might be, you might not be. But if you are in class next week, it's going to be light work. We're not supposed to do anything strenuous, no heavy lifting during next week because of testing. Your science test is on the 24th. So I think on the Monday and Wednesday, I might see you, I might not, but definitely testing is on Thursday. I think it's the last test that you have. Excuse me. All right. So again, if you haven't done the progress learning, please do that. Also, in preparation for the test, like the taxonomy one is due now. On Wednesday, I'll put a different study guide up for you to concentrate on, and Thursday, yet another one. But what you need to do in general, and let me pull this up, and I've said this before, all of the units, I know this is the time of year where we don't normally do homework, but you need to do homework. Homework, you need to be studying, 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 pulling up all of these modules and not waiting till next week, Wednesday, to do this. Pull up all of the modules, and all of the modules have a study guide at the end. We've done 1 or 2 of them, so you can go back and look at the grades that we already have for those and see what you need to improve on. But we are, every one of these units that we've done so far have a review page that's listed. I know I put the taxonomy one in as an assignment, but you can still find it. I'm waiting for the share page to come up. It's time. You can find it at the end of the taxonomy unit, and you can pull it up from there. If you click on it there, it'll come up. So you need to answer all of, all right, we're good. All right, but in particular, you need to do number 9 on a separate sheet of paper. Okay, you need to do that. Or you can do it at the end of the worksheet. Somebody did theirs at the end of the worksheet, and that's fine too. But it's not something that you can squeeze in between the sentences. Most of these you can answer within the sentences. The multiple choice ones, you can simply highlight and I would prefer that you highlight the sentence that you want to give, but you can do these, would put the answers on the line or put them in between the questions. So you do have some space down here after it says good luck. If you wish to do it on this page, you can do that. All right, let me come back up here and explain again what you need to do. Dichotomous key is a list of 2 sentences, and the 2 sentences are basically a yes or no question. Okay. For example, I suggested that because the turtle is the only one there with a shell, so your first couplet, so we deal with couplets, and couplets are either a yes it is or a no it isn't. If you say yes to the statement, then you go ahead and identify the organism. If you say no to the statement, then you need to say where you want us to go next. Okay, so for example, and if you can write this down because this is how you should start. All 10 of these animals have a skeleton, so that's not a thing that we want to worry about. They are all vertebrates, so we want to look particularly at their individual characteristics. So the couplet can be has a shell, has no shell. All right, has a shell. For turtle, we could say yes. So at the end, after you write has a shell and you say yes, write turtle. And you're through with the turtle. Now we just have to worry about all the other 9 organisms. So at the end of has no shell, you can say go to step 2. Okay, step 2, you can decide walks walks on, let's see, walks on all 4 or walks on 2. So now there's 2 of them that's kind of, walks on their hind legs. So we would still need to go to a step 3 for them so we can isolate who they are. Okay. But for the rest of them, those that don't walk on their hind legs, you can say go to step 5 because we're already, step 3 is going to be to identify those 2 that are walking on their hind legs. And then you can say, differentiate those 2 characteristics. All right, actually, you might even say go to step 6 on the other one because you can do a couplet on has a pouch, has no pouch. And if it has a pouch, if it's walking on 2 legs and has a pouch, then it's the kangaroo. If it's walking on 2 legs and it doesn't have a pouch, it's the, I'm going to say that that's a mole or a ferret. Okay. So you identify those 2. Yes, it does have a pouch. No, it doesn't have a pouch. Then it's the other one. Then you've named those 2. And then you can skip to step 4 and talk about walks on all 4s and then have other has fur, all, all that sort of thing. But you have to have a couplet that says yes or no. Okay, if it says yes, then you want to identify them or take us to another step. Or if it says no, you definitely need to say go to step whatever your next step is. Okay, so by the time you finish, you need to have placed all of these, and we're going to use common names. We're not looking for scientific names, so it's okay to say elephant, fox, zebra, bear. I say that's an anteater, turtles, giraffe, whatever that is, kangaroo, ferret, and we're gonna figure out. We're gonna call him a mole and call you a ferret. Okay. All right, so just put them at the end of your couplet. So you need to have placed all 10 of these at the end of a couplet. All right, if you need to get a refresher on how to write a dichotomous chi, check the video playlist and then watch that video again so that you know how to write, because they give examples like this in the test on where you will have to follow and actually identify something based on the dichotomous key that they give you. And most of you need practice doing this. Okay. All right. So again, complete this. Like I said, everybody needs to submit this one, and a handful of you need to submit organelles and homeostasis from progress learning. So we need to work on that. All right. And then on Wednesday, we'll move on to a different study guide. But like I said, all of the units you need to start studying every night. You need to, and we are getting down to the end of the semester, so we don't need to be putting things off till later. While you are in class, please do use class time to do class work so that you can stay on top of things and not fall behind. Because we got basically 1 month left to school as far as assignments are concerned and grades. And we don't want to be grading 5 assignments all at the same time, because I promise you, I'm gonna mark those things that are late will be marked late. And we want you to get the best scores possible. So make sure that you stay on top of all assignments so that they stay in on time. Okay. All right, so like I said, we're going to try to get 2 more study guides in before the week is out. And then in between time, over the weekend, study, 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 go back to all modules and just read them over. Modules that you feel like you need some more work on, there's videos on your playlist. Please watch them. Please, please, please study them. The milestone is 20% of your grade. So you want to make sure that you are prepared for it. If you run into something that you specifically want me to go over with you, and if you want to have a breakout room for a personal question, I can do that too. Okay. But please ask questions. Please study. Please get these assignments turned in. All right. I'm going to stop talking. And will there be questions? That's what I'm going to look at with this. Shouldn't be. And let me look at this. I'll close this one out. All right. The only thing that we have not done is ecology. And we've kind of done some ecology. Get out of that. I don't know that this is published on your page. Ecology is the only one that we haven't done as a unit, and we will spend some time doing that. But we've talked about some of these things throughout the year. So, like I said, the next couple of classes, I'm going to pull out some things about this as well. But that's the last unit that we didn't necessarily get to. And we will touch on it. So let me make sure it's published. If you feel good about everything else and you want to go ahead and look at that unit, let me publish it for you. You can do that. All right, so we have done everything except that. And I'm going to publish everything there. You don't need that. Okay. Unpublish. There we go. All right. So even that has a review page. So more likely I will pull out the review page for this one. And again, you can pull that up and look at that. But that is the only unit we have not done. And some of these topics you have already talked about, but we'll specifically go over this worksheet next class. But it is published now. So if you wish to pull it up and work on that, you can do that. Other than that, we have covered all topics and do expect all topics. to be on the test in some way, shape, or form. Okay, I will um, I'll pull a progress learning one up on this one. But like I said, you can go to the end and review this unit on ecology. Definitely know what a biosphere is, what the parts of the biome are. So we'll talk about that next class as well. Uh, but taxonomy and being able to classify things. We talked about creating a mnemonic that you know all of your classifications in order. Um, So they might ask you which category includes all of the others. Know that the larger ones, like a pyramid, upside down pyramid, the larger categories are at the top. Kingdom and domain and kingdom cover everything. And then you kind of reduce the number of organisms until you get down to species where you're just talking about one kind of organism. So again, know that that's an upside down triangle. Same thing with ecology, the triangle is inverted the other way. Where we start at the bottom with plants and everything is included as far as energy is concerned. And then we get to the top where you get the least amount of energy from one single group of organisms. So will we'll look at that next class. But the best way to hop through that unit is to just look at the study guide and see if you can answer those questions. Okay. All right. Any other questions? Any other question? That was somebody's question. All right. I'm going to stop talking so you can get to working on what you need to work on. I'm not going to put this one in the folder as for a graded assignment. I am for taxonomy because I'm going to take that instead of doing a unit test. So please make sure that you do your taxonomy guide. We will not do a unit test on taxonomy. The worksheet is it. And then when after the milestones, we will move on to ecology as the last topic that we do for the year. Okay. All right. So again, if you are behind, please catch up. All right. We'll do attendance now. If you run into a question, again, if you want a breakout rooms, let me know. I can do that. If there's something that you reviewed when you go through the modules, say this gave me a hard time. Some of you need to practice your Punnett squares. They're definitely going to ask you questions about heredity, mitosis, meiosis. Always ask questions about that. It's been a minute since I've seen a test. They don't let you see them, so I can only tell you to be prepared. I can't tell you what the questions are because the state makes these, but do your best to prepare yourself for this exam by looking at everything. I think what I will do is this. Let's see. Let's see. Okay, I will check it. Why does it keep doing that? So, excuse me. What is this? Okay. Let me do this as a student. I put two sets of worksheets, questions. These is not study guides, these are questions, so that you can kind of see what question format will look like. One is on cell biology, macromolecules, one's on ecosystem, but they are quizzes, 20-question quizzes. We will use these and just go over the answers. So what I did was if you complete them and upload them, you can get 10 points just for submitting the completed worksheet. Like I said, I will use them. We will go over the answers to these. So be present, have them ready to go over the answers, but you can try go ahead of time to see if you can figure out what the answers are. So those are going to be the study sheets for the next two classes. All right, so they are uploaded. You can preview those, and um, I will give you the answers to these questions over the next two classes. In the meantime, finish up what you need to finish up. Now, let me see if it will let me. All right, can everybody find the assignment that says organelles and homeostasis? Because I'm looking at the same four people and nobody else has worked on that since. I have Jacob, Malia, Andrea, and Nikila. And those are the only scores that I have for organelles and homeostasis. So please let me know if you can't access that. Okay, thank you. Everybody else, if I didn't just call your name, you need to be working on organelles and homeostasis. Trying to get that one out of the way. That's the last one in progress learning. Everything else is not. Okay, folks, if you have no questions for me, you can finish up whatever your last statement was. And you're free to log out. All right, thank you for working on your. So I almost got everybody except LaCoria. I don't know where you are, but I got everybody under cell transport. I just needed some more folks under organelles and homeostasis. And then I need everybody except Jacob to do their study guide. Like I said, on Wednesday, I'll go over those other pages that I just uploaded with you, but you can take a look at them ahead of time. Okay? See you next class. Have a good day. It's a lovely day for a change. It's warming up. It's warming up. It's crazy global warming.